PC Gamer is filled to the brim with activists, so it's not a real shocker that they're constantly out of touch with how audiences feel about certain video games and just the state of the industry in totality. But now PC Gamers put out their biggest gaming controversies of 2024 list, where they talk about how layoffs, politics, and the culture wars dominated the year. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, these people are constantly out of touch with audiences. They don't know what makes games amazing and why we praise them, or on the flip side, why they end up being failures. Look at Concord, for example. These are the types of people who praised Concord for the, quote, innovative ideas, character designs, map layouts, you name it. They would say that it was pretty freaking good, but it only lasted 2 weeks and then it died. And now they've put out their gaming controversies of the year list, and it just makes them look even more absurd. So it says 2024 was a big year for gaming, and so naturally it was a big year for gaming related controversies. While hand-wringing over fears that video games cause violence seems to have subsided, at least for now, political and culture war nonsense is more pronounced than ever. The video game industry itself, meanwhile, continued to suffer decimation as funding dried up, and executives who overplayed their hands during the height of the pandemic slashed headcounts in the name of sustainability. There's no other way to put it. It got ugly out there. Of course, this was inevitable. They hired way too many people, so that means they had to get rid of a lot of people. That's just the way that the world works. When you overhire, you end up needing to slash some of those jobs. I don't know what they don't understand about that, but it's not just culture war nonsense, okay? GamerGate1 happened a decade ago, and we are in the midst of GamerGate2. Same reasons, ethics in video game journalism, but there is also another element which boils down to creativity, whether it is a lack thereof in these major companies, whether it is a difference in content coming from different regions like China, Japan, South Korea versus, the West, but they just want it all to be boiled down to, oh, toxic gamers per usual. They have a whole section about Sweet Baby Inc. saying, what happened in March? A little known company called Sweet Baby Inc. was suddenly thrust into the spotlight by anti-woke gamers outraged by, as one put it, the narrative consultant's promulgation of ideological worldviews that I believe have taken hold of the Western world, media, and gaming as a whole. I think that this is so funny. A little known company. If they were such a little company, they wouldn't be working with Xbox Game Studios. They wouldn't be working with Sony's. They wouldn't be working with EA's. They would not be working with all of these major studios and some of the biggest names within entertainment. They're not a little known company. They're not a small company. They have a very large reach. And sure, if you count the 20 employees that they have, that is smaller, but that doesn't mean that they are not affecting the way that games are going and the direction that things are being taken. And of course, when we criticize decisions that are made in the industry, we're terrible people. We're sexist, racist, homophobes because we're not sitting here just outright praising a game because it's got a diverse cast. But on the flip side, oh, it's okay when these people, when these activists criticize a game and a company for content they don't like Stellar Blade, for example. Oh, it's okay that a PC gamer will echo blatant lies about game science because they were published by IGN. It's okay when it's a game that they want to bury, but it's not okay when we simply want to criticize a product and ultimately the company behind it. It says, though, the company is contracted by developers who want to improve pre-existing elements of their games and it has absolutely no power to force anyone to do anything. Why would they be hired then? This is what's mind-boggling to me. Ultimately, A company is going to hire another company to do work. Let's say, for argument's sake, $50,000 is given by Xbox Game Studios to Sweet Baby Inc. Do you really think they're just going to pay $50,000 to not take into consideration any of their work at all whatsoever? No, the reason why they are being hired is so that they can affect the outcome of a game. I hate that they try to constantly gaslight us into believing Sweet Baby's doing nothing, that they're just being handed money, which is absurd. But they talk about how the outcome is as ridiculous as it sounds and is. A Steam curator group dedicated to detecting the presence of Sweet Baby Inc. in games has now swollen to more than 460,000 followers, and the company was forced to lock its social media accounts following a torrent of abuse. What is great about the Sweet Baby Inc. /DEI detected list is that you can use it however you feel. Cabrutus does not say boycott all of these games, attack all of these developers. That's not the case at all whatsoever. If you are a fan of Sweet Baby Inc. or just woke games in totality, you can go down that list and buy every single one of them. The woke crowd who games are being created for do not show up, but they could prove that they exist. They could buy all of these titles and have these games open and pump up those player numbers, but instead we're left with games like Concords that are complete and utter failures that are closed 2 weeks after release. Then we get into Black Myth Wukong. Black Myth Wukong Studio steadfastly refuses to address allegations of sexism. Yes, because they're allegations. Why are they going to sit here and address blatantly false reports? IGN clearly had a hate boner for Game Science and the Wukong team, much like other mainstream media outlets. They are the ones who started spreading these accusations around. Why would you sit here and address blatantly false allegations? It just wouldn't happen. Why are you going to defend yourself against complete and utter lies? But they talk about how it is a good game, but it's also become a pivot point in the culture wars thanks to the 2023 IGN report on the long history of sexism at the developer. And they talk about how there was this alleged list of certain things you could or could not talk about on streams, like feminist propaganda, which also was debunked extremely quickly. That was actually, starting to spread online, and then it was shut down. So I don't know why they're still pushing this fake news. They say that we push fake news surrounding Sweet Baby Inc., that they don't do what we think they do, even though they do exactly what we believe they do. Yet it's okay when they push, false information like this. But PC Gamer has a history. When it comes to the culture war and defending Sweet Baby Inc. and attacking Wukongs. This was from March, saying a company called Sweet Baby Inc. has become the target of anti-woke gamers because it offers consultancy work, an industry standard service that's been normal for years. So, of course, they have tried tooth and nail to defend the industry. And by the way, the picture for the article is literally the same on both. So it just goes to show how fucking lazy these people are. But they have really tried to, attack gamers over the past year who are simply speaking up for themselves. These individuals cannot deal with the fact that gamers are willing to speak with their wallets and defend the industry that they care about. So they constantly just have to put out hit pieces on us. And this article of gaming controversies in 2024 has a little bit more to it, like Elon Musk saying he's going to make gaming great again. Those are not really controversies to normal people. They're only controversies to the activists in the industry who simply wanted to try to get hate clicks off of this article. And I'm sure we're going to see a few more pieces like this released over the next few weeks as we get into the new year. But PC gamers trying their best to defend the mainstream industry, attack Black Myth Wukong and Game Science, attack anti-woke gamers, and defend Sweet Baby Inc. And I can't say I'm surprised. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.